Hello everyone, I'm deliberately starting with a completely unglamorous shot of myself. This is how I look after defrosting my fridge for goodness knows how long. And I'm taking a break to do this video. So let me just tidy myself up and then I will come back and join you. Right, I'm back and hopefully looking a little bit tidier than I was a minute ago. So today I am reviewing this Sunset Dreamscape Instant Look in a palette. Now this was released at Nordstrom in the US in the summertime. But those of us in the UK didn't get it at that point. And now it's exclusively on Charlotte Tilbury and it's part of her Christmas range. So you can choose between this new one, Stoned Rose, and another one. And I can't remember the other one. Let me have a think. I'm coming back. I cheated and I went on her website. It's Gorgeous Glowing Beauty. And I've just seen that Stoned Rose has already sold out. But this one hasn't. And this is the new one. It's certainly new in the UK. So as you can see, similar packaging to some of the eyeshadow palettes that are coming out for Christmas. And now she's gone back on, if you remember, the last Instant Look in a palettes that she did. She put a powder in with, she put one blush in and a highlighter and a powder. She's gone back to the old formula of putting in two blushes, a swish and pop. And she's left the powder out, which is a shame because I actually really like that concept because then you've got virtually everything in one palette. But anyway, this is what the palette looks like. Now, it reminds me of something. I think it reminds me of Gorgeous Glowing Beauty, but I'm going to do swatch comparisons later, okay? And for now, I just want to do a first impression and get some makeup on to make me feel a little bit more glamorous after defrosting my fridge all morning and still defrosting it. So let's try this on and I'll give you my thoughts. Okay, I haven't forgotten to swatch this and I'm going to do that at the end. But first of all, I just want to try on the bronzer because the bronzer looks quite light, but I'm just going to see. Oh no, it shows up. I would say it's just a little bit darker than the medium flawless, airbrush flawless bronzer. Just a smidgen darker than airbrush flawless bronzer in medium. But that does actually show up on me. So I'm happy with that. I'll just put some on the high points on my forehead. Like so, and then take it down onto my chest. Yeah, happy so far. Okay, so now I'm actually going to do the blush first and the highlight, and then we'll get on to the eyes. So I'll just get my blush brush. Okay, so my Charlotte Tilbury blush brush. Now this actually reminds me quite a lot. It's not the same. It reminds me quite a lot of, it's a little bit of a mixture of Ecstasy and Pillow Talk, but they're both kind of quite matte. So it's going to look, they're not completely matte, but I'm going to do the swish first. Quite a dark blush. So go easy if you're fair-skinned, but I still think it's going to look nice if you're fair-skinned because it's got a nice mixture of pink and something slightly warmer. So it's going to work with a lot of different eyeshadow shades, although you'll probably be using it with what's in this set. And then the pop is quite powdery. And I'm just going to tap some of that off. And then, yeah, quite a nice, that it's quite a vibrant pink. Not as vibrant as Love is a Drug, but on the way to that. but it's definitely quite a lot came up on the brush. So definitely tap off your brush. But very, very pretty there. So, and then I'm just going to take my sculpt brush and try the highlighter. The highlighter looks very pretty. I did actually try some of this on my, dipped my fingers in when I got it. Very pretty. And that reminds me actually a lot of, reminded me of a couple of things. It reminded me a little bit of Magic Star in terms of the shade. But it also reminded me a bit of the Victoria Beckham highlighter that she bought out with Estee Lauder, because it's perhaps got a bit more pigment in than that, but it's not too shimmery, but it shows up. So if you don't like one that's too shimmery but you want it to show up, I think that's a really pretty highlighter. I think actually out of all her instant look in her palettes, I know she had one with Bar of Gold, but I actually think that that's one of my favourite highlighters. Very pretty. So let me just try, and I'm just going to dip my finger in there and just highlight under my brow bone with that and put it in all the usual places, because I really like that highlighter. And then put some on my pinky and pop some in there. Yeah, it's very pretty highlighter. Very pretty indeed. Seem to have a dark shadow there for some reason. I did put a little bit of eye primer, concealer on that works as an eye primer, which I will tell you about soon. Anyway, so that is the face, the bronzer, the blush and the highlighter. And I'm just going to now just give my face a little bit of a spray with the Airbrush setting spray and be right back so that you can see what it looks like when you spray it. Okay, so that's what it looks like when you spray it with a bit of Airbrush Flawless setting spray. So looking good so far. And now I'm going to go in with these eyeshadows. So this is what, it kind of reminds me a little bit of one of the others, and I think it must be Gorgeous Glowing Beauty, but I will come back to that. I think maybe the Gorgeous Glowing Beauty has got a bit more red, and this has perhaps got a bit more pink in it. But I like the fact that she's got a matte in there to put in the socket for my hooded lids, as I keep going on about it. I'm going to start off. I'm going to go in with the Eye Brighten, the prime shade or Eye Brighten shade, and try that out first. I cleaned off this brush. Just put that over my entire mobile lid, and not too far up because it is quite light reflecting. That's very pretty, and it's a lovely formula. Now again, this will probably, somebody was asking on my live whether you can wet her shadows, and I think this would look particularly good if you wet it. Right, okay, so I'm just going to spray this brush. I loaded the brush with some, and I'm just spraying it. Yeah, look, it just makes it really pop. Can you see the difference with a wet brush and a dry brush? So that works really well when you wet it. I'm just going to do the other one, and I'll be right back. Okay, so then I'm going to take the Eye Enhance and put that on the outer corner of my mobile lid. And again, I'm going to wet it so that you can see the difference. This is a lovely rose gold. So let me just try that and wet it. Yeah, that works beautifully, wetting it. So I'll do that on the other side. Give it another little squirt. And there we go. So next I'm going to go in with the smoke shade. Very, very pretty indeed. Okay, I've just cleaned off my brush and now I'm going in with the smoke shade. And again, the brush is picking up quite a lot. So I've tapped some off, but it is quite dark, this one. So I'm just taking a little bit into the socket and then blend, blend, blend. This actually reminds me of the look that I did yesterday using the Bordeaux eyeliner by Victoria Beckham. Looks a little bit like that. Really well pigmented though, and really good for building up some intensity in the eye. And I can see it's kind of sunsetty. Easy to blend as well. I am using my super duper brush, my Sonia G brush, which always makes it easier. I must put this on my Santa's wish list this year. Another brush by Sonia G. And again, I'm just going to go easy to start with. Hang on. This one always drags a little bit, so I just like to hold the side. And then give it a good blend. I should remember my own advice. Always blends better when you hold the brush further up. It doesn't press the shadow in, it lets it move about a bit more. And I just build up that intensity in that corner. Beautiful. Then I'm going to take my smudge brush and I'm going to take that smoke shade and just take it sort of halfway along. Like so. I don't want to take it all the way along because it is quite dark and I don't want to close up the eyes. And then I'm going to take the middle shade, the enhanced shade, and I'm going to use that here. And kind of blend the two together in the middle. That is lovely. So I'm going to finish off. I'm going to show you. I've got this, but it's not really. I think I was going to show you my new Limitless Lucky Lips in Cherry Dream, but actually I think this could do with a more plum type shade. So I'm going to finish off this look and I'll be right back and tell you what I used. Okay, so that's the look. So I actually teamed this up. The lipstick is, I put the lip liner on, which is Crazy in Love, and then I put the Hyaluronic Happy Kiss in Happy Berry over the top. And I am loving this. Now, I did dig out my Gorgeous Glowing Beauty because I did think that they were very similar. And I've just looked at it and they do look very similar. But on the eyes, they don't. And I'm going to show you what I mean. So, if you look, there's Gorgeous Glowing Beauty at the top. Is that right? No, sorry. Sunset Dreams is at the top and Gorgeous Glowing Beauty is at the bottom. But in actual fact, if you look at this smoke shade, it actually reminds me of Vintage Vamp, which this one, Gorgeous Glowing Beauty, didn't when I put it on. Gorgeous Glowing Beauty reminded me more of Walk of Shame. So I actually think that Gorgeous Glowing Beauty, although it looks very similar, I think that this has got a more red tone, a sort of earthy red brick tone to it. Do you see that? And then this one has got, when you put it on the eyes, it sort of looks more purple. Certainly does on my skin tone, but they are very, very similar. What I'm going to do is I'm going to swatch them both on my arm, on the lightest part of my arm, so that you can see both of them at the end. And then you can get an idea about whether or not you need this new Sunset Dreamscape if you have got Gorgeous Glowing Beauty. Okay, so I will do that, but you can see they do look very similar in the pan. I just don't, I'm actually amazed because on my eyes, as I said, that actually looks like Vintage Vamp. And it looks very purpley, which I didn't get with Gorgeous Glowing Beauty. So I'm very pleasantly surprised and I'm loving it. The other thing is I put on the eyeliner in Elizabeth Violet, it's called. It's one of Charlotte's Rock and Coals in purple. It's called Elizabeth Violet. So I put that on and I put her eye cheat underneath. But I'll put all the details in the description bar. Now, coming up very soon, I'm on a bit of a roll now. I'm going to do you a little video about the brush sets and show you the previous years. And then after that, I'm going to do a recap of all things that are Charlotte Tilbury at Christmas, tell you who I think they're for, which things you might want to give a miss, and it will depend on what your priorities are, but I'm going to go through all of that. So I'm glad you could join me. Just a little announcement at the end. I'm not going to be able to do my live on Wednesday again because I've got a foot health appointment just at the time I put out my live. So this week's live will be on Thursday. So I haven't forgotten you all, and I will see you all very soon. Take care. Love you all. Bye-bye. Mwah. Okay, I've put them next to one another now. So you've got Sunset Dreamscape on the left and Gorgeous Glowing Beauty on the right. So you can see there's a few similarities, although there are some notable differences. Now, when you're looking at the blushes of Sunset Dreamscape are sort of quite satin. There aren't really a shimmering shade, whereas there is on Gorgeous Glowing Beauty. But interestingly enough, the shimmer shade in the blush of Gorgeous Glowing Beauty looks very similar to the highlighter of Sunset Dreamscape, and it actually swatches quite dark, which surprised me because it didn't look that dark on my skin. I think the bronzers are pretty much the same colour, perhaps a little bit more orange. I don't know if that was the lighting in the other one, but I hope that's been helpful. And just leaving you with my gorgeous before photograph. This is me defrosting my fridge, pulling a face. And me afterwards. I can't say, as I said on Instagram, it's beautiful before, beautiful after. I would say it's hassled before and chilled after. I said defrosted after on Instagram, but I think chilled is so much better. Now my fridge is back and working. Thanks for watching. See you all soon. Take care. Love you all. Mwah.